If you don't have people in your life that dislike you or get upset with you, then you don't really respect yourself. And I know that sounds crazy, but if that's the case, you are most likely engaging in a lot of people pleasing, approval seeking kinds of behaviors, which means that you are putting yourself below and valuing what everybody else expects from you or everybody else wants from you or needs from you more than what you expect from yourself. For example, when I was younger, I used to pretty much say yes to any sort of invitation, like friends that would just call me or people that would want to talk or going to somewhere with my parents. And over the course of time, you realize that you don't have to say yes to every single thing. A lot of those times, I didn't necessarily feel like doing the thing, going to the place, because I have other things that I'm looking to get done. If you find yourself doing things that are wasting your time, devaluing your energy, and really at your own expense just to benefit somebody else, you are, in a sense, disrespecting yourself. In order to have full-on integrity with yourself, you have to maintain that courage to be disliked, because you can't please everybody all the time. It's an impossible task. And even if you were to try to go down that path, there will eventually be somebody that is not pleased with the way that you're behaving, the choices that you're making, and how you're showing up. If you don't have that ability to displease people, then you also don't have the ability to maintain your self-respect. Another example is looking in the mirror and pointing out flaws with yourself. Anytime that you are thinking all these negative thoughts and you go down that negative spiral, you are disrespecting yourself. A lot of people use the term self-love, and self-love is something that's good to cultivate, but it's a little bit different than self-respect, because you can love somebody and not really respect them. If you have a friend that you love or a family member and you love them, but you know that if you trust them with a very important task, time and time again, they have failed to execute that task, maybe you don't really respect them enough at least to trust them with that important thing that you need to get done. So there's a difference between love and respect. And you can still love yourself without respecting yourself as well. It's the same type of idea as when you either trust this friend to do something because they've proven themselves or they haven't proven themselves. And so the same thing is going on with ourselves as well. Do we actually trust ourselves? Do we actually respect ourselves to get that thing done and handled the way that we said we would? The other way that this shows up too is your quickness, or your even something as simple as the way that you respond to something. If you are constantly reaching for your phone as soon as a notification goes off, you're not really respecting, again, your time or your attention, because you're putting what somebody else is texting you, somebody else's text or call, you're valuing your attention and your focus less than the incoming text messages or phone calls or notifications that you are getting from other people. So if you find yourself as somebody that you're driving and that as soon as your phone vibrates, you compulsively have to look at the phone and the notification as soon as it goes off, that, I would say, again, is an act of disrespect to yourself. Again, you're putting your own physical safety at risk because you're valuing this notification, this text message, more than you keeping your focus and your eyes on the road. And people genuinely get into car accidents because of this. Just the other day, when I was in Arizona, there was a woman that crashed on the highway, and two of her kids are no longer, she was driving just the day after I left down the same highway, the 60, and was caught up looking at her phone rather than paying attention to the road. So it's an extreme example, but when you allow your focus and your attention to be diverted all these different ways and you're being led around, that is an act of disrespect to yourself. I think this people-pleasing, approval-seeking, and really self-disrespecting kinds of way of behaving is a big reason why people don't achieve the success that they want in their lives, because you don't have a foundation of self-respect and trust that you built up with yourself. That self-respect and that self-trust is going to be cultivated and gained by the way that you interact with the world and interact with others. And if every single behavior that you're engaging with, whether it is the compulsive reactivity to your cell phone, or trying to make sure that you never displease anybody, or kinds of all these ways that we seek approval from others by constantly accepting all the invitations or agreeing with everything that somebody's saying, is ultimately, we know our inner self, our higher self knows what it is that we truly claimed in our inner world that we value. And if we're getting a mismatch in the behavior that we have versus what we've thought that we valued, then that's cheapening our respect and our trust with ourselves. If I wake up every single day with the goal of reading something in the morning, going to the gym, making myself a healthy breakfast, but instead I am waking up late, scrolling, never make it to the gym, eating junk food, eventually that respect is going to diminish and dwindle, and I'm going to lose that relationship and self-trust that I could have had and could have been building up with myself. Again, if you have a friend and they say that they believe this one thing, and they always talk and say that they're going to do this, but they never follow up with it with their actions, eventually that respect that you had for your friend, or your belief in that he's going to do, or trust that he's going to do what he says he's going to do, is eventually going to diminish. You're going to not see them as a person that does what they say they're going to do. And you're going to lose respect for them, much the same way that your self-respect diminishes when you don't do what you say you're going to do. The faster that you learn to be okay with taking your time responding to that text, or doing something that somebody's going to dislike, or really just displeasing other people, the faster that you're going to cultivate that inner self-respect for yourself, because you value what you value more than other people's expectations, other people's immediate whims, wants, and needs and desires. The last example that I'll give is like a child throwing a tantrum. Children obviously are dramatic with their tantrums, with their whining, with their crying, but adults, underneath the kind of outer behavior, the same types of energy is underneath. And so a child that cries and always learns to throw a tantrum to get what they want, because the parent is immediately reactive and coddling the child so much, the child learns to take that and use it to his advantage and manipulate things to his advantage. The same way that adults do, or people in our lives do, when they're used to you saying yes to every single thing, people begin to take advantage of the situation. So by you cultivating that kind of inner equilibrium, assessing the situation without getting so reactive and involved, the child starts crying, but you realize that they didn't actually hurt themselves. It's more just a cry for attention. So you tell the child, hey, look, it's okay. You're good. You didn't hurt yourself. Look, here, what's this? And you can begin to show the child that they are not, you're not going to be their waiter, waiting on them hand and foot for every little thing just because they want to cry for attention. Because that's what people in our lives do. That's what we do when we grow up as well. We don't physically, literally cry. I mean, some people do, but most of the time, these cries for attention manifest themselves in people making all these requests, asking you to do all these things. And the more that you get comfortable saying no, the more that they will then say, oh, wow, this person has a level of respect for themselves, and I'm going to come to this person really when I need their help, rather than looking for them to just make every single situation just easier and more convenient for them at your expense. I noticed that a lot of people that are effective in life are able to cultivate this. And using this example with the child, you're able to then see that it's even in the child's own best interest, and people that you might be dealing with, for you to cultivate this level of inner equilibrium and doing what's best for you. Because the more that you respect yourself, people may not like it. They may actually dislike it and get upset, but deep down, they will respect you more. So to finish this video, a practical exercise you can do is to notice every single time your attention is hooked or pulled. If somebody says something or asks you to do something, do you immediately jerk your head? If your phone goes off with a notification, do you immediately look away from the steering wheel because you have to respond to this person's thing? Notice that, become aware, develop this awareness of where you are engaging in these kinds of little mini acts of disrespect for yourself, and begin to cultivate that awareness so that you can begin to slowly shift your behavior. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just notice it, become aware of it, and begin to implement new behavior that you decided to cultivate. With that being said, guys, much love as always. Drop this video with a like if you found this to be of value, and I will see you guys in the next video.